So now see guys, when we talk about current, this thing, let's discuss something, the concept of. So average relaxation time and average sleep time. First of all, before understanding the average relaxation and average sleep time, let's understand what is relaxation time. Relaxation time. What is relaxation time? See, if suppose I told you that whenever you have a conductor, and in this conductor there is an electron which is, let's say, going in this direction, and ultimately there is another electron which is going in this direction. Let it go in this direction. Both of the electrons, they collide at this particular instant, and it goes like this and this goes like that. Suppose I'm giving an example, no? So can you see over here, guys? Um, okay. So this is the initial velocity. If this is the electric field, and this thing is trying to go like it should not be. Suppose this is the electron, and this is the initial direction, the initial velocity is direction. What will be the direction of force on this electron? The direction of force will be in this direction, right? Because of which the object's trajectory will look something like this, and then it will strike like this. Is this clear, guys? I'll draw a trajectory with a different color. The trajectory looks like this. The electron actually goes like this and comes over here, hits this another electron or another atom. So can you see in this particular thing, guys? This initial velocity is v naught, v naught vector, and the object is experiencing an acceleration e by m, which is in the opposite direction of electric field, due to which the trajectory becomes something like this and it hits this object over here. Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? So basically, what is the relaxation time?
Yes, sir.
It is the time taken by an between two successive pulleys. है ना? So for example, there is an electron which hits from here and it goes from here. So let's say it is at here, it is at t equals to 0, and here it strikes another electron, right, at t equals to t1. Basically, can you see this t1 is what the average the relaxation time for the first collision, right? Then this electron comes over here, let's say t equals to t2. So can you see from here to here what is the time interval? T2 minus t1. Are you getting my point, guys?
Yes, sir.
So suppose if I don't talk about the time instants, I'll talk about the time intervals everywhere. So suppose this is T1, this is T2, this is T3, this is T4, this is T5, this is T6, and so on. Are you getting my point, guys? See, basically, what is relaxation time? It is basically the time taken by an electron between two successive collisions. Can you see if it collided from here and then it till the time it will not collide with the second object, second electron, then that much time will be called, called as the relaxation time. Is this clear? But we know for different collisions, this relaxation time will be different, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
For different collisions,
Yes, sir.
relaxation time will be different. So what do we do basically? What do we do basically? We assume something called as, guys, we assume something
Average
called as
average relaxation
average
time.
relaxation time. Average relaxation time is basically what? The total time divided by the number of collisions. Is this clear? So basically, this will be equals to, so this will be divided by tau. The same thing which we use for, you remember the torque? The torque and same letter. Is this clear, guys? Average relaxation time. So basically, to
Yes,
take this time difference also, now what will you say? So basically, in between any two collisions, the time is tau. Irrespective of the path, the time is tau. Is this clear, guys? Are you getting my point?
yes, sir.
So basically, that's the concept of average relaxation. It's the average time.
So, can you
Okay.
explain that talk part again? I
Can
didn't
you
understand.
explain that torque part?
Yeah.
Now, torquically, the symbol which we use for torque, tau, the
Yeah.
same symbol
Okay.
we are using for average
Oh, for
relaxation.
average relaxation. Okay. And N denotes the number of collisions, right?
N denotes capital N, yes.
Okay.
Similarly, what is the free path? Guys, what is free path?
The distance traveled,
Yes, free path is basically the distance traveled freely.
relaxation time.
Between two accelerators. Is this clear? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So basically, this distance. Initially, it was time. Now, if we talk about the distances, shall we draw a good diagram like this normally? Okay, fine. I'll draw a good one. Wait. I'm drawing a diagram for both. And so on. Enough. So let's say the particle starts from A to B, then when it reaches B, it collides with some other particle, then it turns direction and moves towards C. C से D की तरफ, D to E, E से F, and F to G. Is this clear, guys? Can you see the random motion of the electron? Even if the electric field is applied, this particle is moving like this with an overall drift in this direction. Yes or no? Hello, hello. So see over here, guys.
Yes, sir.
See, when you are applying this particular concept, wait a second. So when you see this particular thing, can you see the distance AB, the distance BC, the distance CD, the distance DEF? What are these distances? All these distances are as known as what? The free path. Why are they called as the free path? Because can you see all these distances were traveled in between two collisions, right? Can you see it might have collided somewhere over here? So from A to B, there are two collisions, and this is the distance in which the object was traveling freely. Basically, this is the free path of the electron in the first collision. This is the free path in the second collision, third collision, fourth collision, fifth collision, seventh, sixth collision, and so on. So all these are free paths. Whereas the time taken from A to B, the time taken from B to C, the time taken from C to D, the time taken from D to E, and so on, are basically the relaxation time. Is this clear, guys? So just like in this case, what will be tau? Tau will be basically the sum of the times divided by the number of collisions. Whereas what is the mean free path, guys? What will be mean free path? The mean free path will be all the sum of free paths divided by the total number of, or you can just say the total distance traveled by the number of collisions. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Clear, guys?
So what is the total distance?
Yes, sir.
Distance traveled.
Okay.
The total distance traveled upon total number of collisions. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, guys, we'll see a relationship between drift velocity and average relaxation time. Okay, guys, we'll see a relation between average relaxation time and drift velocity. Suppose, guys, suppose there is one electron, and let's talk about only one collision. Let's say the object had an initial velocity in this direction, v naught. It was subjected to an acceleration in what direction? Acceleration in this direction. What will be the acceleration? E by m, right? And due to which the object will move somewhere over here, and its velocity will become what? How much? V. Okay. I'm talking about general case. Okay. So every equation which I'll write will be in vector form. And initially, this is a v naught vector. This is your acceleration vector. E by m, whatever be the acceleration. Enough? So can I write this equation? V equals to u plus at. Is this your first equation in vector form? Is this
Yes,
your
sir.
first equation in vector form? So basically, can I write this particular thing? V vector is equals to v naught vector plus acceleration will be minus of E vector by mass. So can I write? Because, sir, why have you written minus E? Because everything I'm including with sign. So that is why I have put the charge with sign over here. Since I'm writing in vector form,
Okay.
so that's why I have put the charge with sign over here. The V vector is basically V naught a vector plus minus E vector by M into. Okay? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Tell me this particular thing. Since the whole, the conductor will contain many number of electrons which are there and which are undergoing oscillation in every time interval, right? So if I want to average the whole thing, taking average of this equation. So see individual terms what exactly we can do. Na? Taking average of these equations. This equation. So first of all, if I talk about V1 plus V2, the final velocity for every electron, the final velocity for every electron, if I try to, or if you want to what, if you want to, average of this equation for this electron, that's it. For this only electron we are talking, है ना? So tell me, for one collision it will become like this, second it will become like this, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, sixth, sixth. But when you take an average, so ultimately there is an overall drift in this direction, right? Ultimately, so there was an overall drift. So the average value of V vector will be equal to drift velocity for that electron as the average of V vector over a complete time period. So can you see what is the total time, guys? In this case, what is the total time? TAB, TBC, TCD, TBE, TF, TFG. So all of them plus that is the total time, right? Hello?
Yes.
In this case, is that the total time?
Yes, sir.
So that total time, if we take the average of this final velocity vector over a total time, it will lead to this. Okay? So that is why this average we are doing VD. Now the term V naught. Now please remember, there is an assumption we generally assume that the velocity of electron after a collision is independent of its velocity before the collision. जनरली हम क्या अज्यूम करते हैं कि जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स की वेलोसिटी है आफ्टर collision it is independent of its velocity before collision which in and the initial velocities are distributed in every possible direction. And average value of V naught एक बार चीज को पूरा पढ़ो guys. See, basically, what do we assume that we assume that the velocity just after the collision is independent of the velocity just before the collision, because even if it's dependent, तो भी क्या होता है कि since the number of collisions are very way much, so there will be always one velocity which will try to cancel out the velocity of some other collision. Are you getting my point? So ultimately, overall velocity throughout the whole number of collision we are talking about, एक ना एक component cancel हो जाता है with the other one, and the ultimate average velocity becomes zero. The same reason which we followed for different particles and average velocity of a, you remember gas particles in a sample, the same reason which we followed. But वहाँ पे अलग अलग particles were trying to cancel out each other's velocity, whereas here it will be a single particle will cancel out any velocity because there are multiple number of things. And then it is, integrated over a multiple number of collisions, it will become zero. So anyway, ज़्यादा मैथ्स पार्ट में नहीं घुस रहा
Sir, how will it cancel out?
Suppose.
And sir, your voice is very low. I mean, it's not clear.
Okay. Now, is it clear now?
Okay, better.
So, see over here. कभी मेरे पास एक I have and let's say this is one number of collisions, है ना? Can you see the number of collisions?
Okay, sir.
So whatever collisions are there, so suppose there are infinitely many collisions are there.
Okay.
So can you see the different collisions are there? I know
Yeah.
you won't be able to see one, but can you see one collision? Let's say this is one collision, and let's say there is one collision here in this direction. So there are
Okay.
two collisions which I chose at random, which will be having initial velocity for this in this direction, and this collision will have initial velocity in this direction. Can you see this and this are
Yeah.
equal and opposite? So since there are infinitely many number of collision over there will be always one velocity component which will be cancelled by the initial velocity of any other. When you will take the average over the whole thing, whole number of collisions, the average will become zero. Okay?
Understood. Okay, sir.
Okay. So, and the third term, guys, E and M are constant, right? Because since we have connected with a battery of firm potential, so hence I am considering external electric field is constant. So E and M are constant. So now the average thing which we have want to do is only T. And what is the average for time? Average relaxation time is tau, right?
Yes, sir.
So when we perform average on the first equation, which is basically V vector is V naught vector plus sorry, so minus of E on M T. You get the average of this. The average of this is VD. The average of this is 0. The average of this is E M tau. So can you see from here the V vector is basically minus of E M. Is this clear? Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
And basically this is the relationship between drift velocity and average relaxation time. Is this clear, guys?
So,
हाँ बोलो.
can you? So, my connection is really bad for the last some time. Could you just summarize what has happened? I've understood this last bit.
हाँ.
The previous bit, please summarize.
Basically, I was averaging this equation. Can you see this equation which we just made for the first case? This equation. I wanted to make this equation average. So what concept did I use? See, the final velocity ultimately was resulting in the displacement of in VD, right? So when I took an average of this particular all the velocities over this thing over all collisions, then the average I got it was VD. When I took for initial velocity, since the number of collisions were too much, so that we assumed that there will be always one velocity of any one collision, which will cancel out the initial velocity of any other collision. So basically, this will happen through all the collision, and ultimately the initial velocity of all the collision average will become zero. This is what we assume V naught became zero. And when we took
So,
average,
so could you explain the first case?
first case मतलब ये वाला the average value
The
of V.
first one.
इधर देख
Yeah, this.
see, ultimately whatever be the final velocity of this whole thing, is this object displacing finally towards from A to G.
Yeah,
So basically this is because of drift velocity only, no?
yeah.
So you can say this particular thing, the average of all the final velocity of all these collisions will be equal to what? VD. Okay? Because all the final
Okay.
velocities are ultimately leading to what? A displacement of VD in this direction, right?
Yeah.
Please remember, it's not necessary there are only 7 or 8 collisions over here. No, there are millions of collisions taking place. Dhada, 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 dhada. But ultimately, the object is drifting towards the direction opposite to electricity. So that is why we assumed all the average velocity ka average final velocities, the average of final velocities of every collision divided by the number of collisions is basically equal to what VD vector. Is this clear?
Yeah, okay, sir.
So we can write this thing VD is equal to minus of E by F. Clear? Is this
So,
clear?
like this final form is the main conclusion of this discussion.
The final what?
The final formula is the main conclusion of the discussion.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, sir.
Is this clear? So this is basically the relation between the drift velocity and the average relaxation time. Is this clear, guys? Heading
Yes, sir.
Ohm's law.
So, are you speaking?
मैं अभी तो कुछ नहीं.
Okay.
Are you done with noting down all the things? Hello, people, are you done with noting down everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's start. So, guys, first of all, एक minute, just give me 2 minutes. Guys, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, so tell me this particular thing, guys. We derived this formula, I guess, little while ago, not little while ago, 2 lectures ago. For any particular conductor, if I have any particular conductor, whether it's uniform or non-uniform, I told you know the relationship between a drift velocity and electric field is something like this. For any particular conductor, V is basically mu times of E, where mu represents what?
Mobility.
Mobility of
Mobility
electrons.
of electrons. We already discussed about this particular thing, right or wrong? And
Yeah.
Mm.
in yesterday's class also I denoted, we got one more thing. In a week, you got one more relation from the relation between drift velocity and current density. You remember current density and drift velocity J is equal to NEVD. कल ही derive किया था ये. I
Mm.
think it won't be there in this PPT, but it will be in the previous lecture, right?
Yes, sir.
See, J is equal to NE into VD, right?
Yes, sir.
So now see over here. When I combine these two equations together, can you see from here, can I put the value VD over here? So can I write J is equals to N into E into mu into E, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
In place of VD, I wrote mu into E, right? I can club these three together. Can you see this is also constant of the conductor, this is the constant of electron, so and this is also constant of conductor, right? Since
Yes.
Yeah.
this whole thing was a constant thing, then I can replace this N, E and mu with a new constant which is termed as sigma. Where what is sigma? Sigma is called as the conductivity of the conductor, and I don't think 10th grade you might have your teacher might have introduced this particular thing, this particular term to you people. But conductivity is nothing but the reciprocal of
Resistivity.
resistivity. Anna?
Mm.
So basically this N into E into mu is, I told you, mu is directly somehow related to resistivity. This is how it is related. More the mobility, more will be the conductivity, and more will be the conductivity. The inverse relation follows with resistivity. Is this clear?
Oh, yes.
So basically, I can write this thing as J is equal to N into E into mu into E, or I can write this as J
Sigma E.
sigma into E, or I can write it as J into 1 by rho. Is this clear? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
basically, this is, yeah. I'll write it in vector form. Okay. J in vector form, J is equals to 1 by rho into E vector, and this is your differential or microscopic form of Ohm. Please remember this Ohm's law. This is also Ohm's law only. You have studied V
Mm.
equals to IR.
Yes, sir.
That V equals to IR is macroscopic form. It cannot be
Okay.
applied to every conductor, whereas this can be applied to any conductor. है ना? So what is the differential or microscopic form of Ohm's law? The statement is
So this law can be even applicable for macroscopic level?
yes. So we'll derive the
Okay.
macroscopic form with the help of this only.
Okay.
So this is right down in any conductor at any given point, the current density directly proportional to the electric strength at that. Okay. Please remember this is called as differential form of Ohm's law. We'll be discussing the microscopic form as well. Okay. Whenever you're done.
So,
Now,
Done, sir.
tell me.
Done, sir.
Done. Now the macroscopic form. Macroscopic form is only applicable for this conductor. And you see these type of conductors where the area of cross section is uniform throughout.
Yeah.
The area is A and length is L. The material is same throughout, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So basically, suppose if I have a conductor for homogeneous conductors of uniform cross-sectional area. It can be a square cross-section, it can be a circular cross-section, doesn't matter. But the cross-section should be uniform throughout the wire. So if I have a uniform homogeneous conductor of a uniform cross-sectional area A, then if this conductor is of length L, then on application of you know on applying a potential difference because of a battery, an electric field is set up, right?
Mm.
So from here, this particular thing, J is basically equal to 1 by rho into E by microscopic form of Ohm's law, right?
Yes.
For this type of conductor, E will be equals to V divided by L because we know this particular thing here, VA minus VB is basically how much? V, and length of the conductor is L. So hence, E is basically V by L, and the current density J is basically
I by A.
I by, very good. So can I write this? Enough. So from here in this equation, can I put so V? Hello.
Yes, sir.
So I by A is basically equal to 1 by rho into E is basically V by L. Yes or no, guys?
Yes, sir.
Can you see from here? I can send this rho and L to the left hand side. So V is basically rho L by A into I. And if you remember, this we termed as what?
Resistance.
The resistance. So basically from here you got V equals to this is your macroscopic form
Mm.
of Ohm's law, but please remember it is only applicable. Important. Okay, is this clear, guys? Macroscopic form
Yes, sir.
Ohm's law is basically V equals to IR. We'll write down the statement. When you are done with this thing, just tell me.
So how do
heterogeneous
you
conductor
remember
look like?
which?
Yeah?
How will a heterogeneous conductor look like?
How does a heterogeneous conductor look like? See, if I have a heterogeneous conductor, suppose. Imagine picture this as like two different solids, but when they are mixed with each other, suppose picture this as I have two different type of glitter, है ना? I mix it in a water solution, है ना? You have mixed it well, and before it settles, you have
Okay.
put it into the freezer, and before it settled, it froze. How will it look like? Will it look like something like this? This is one material, and the other material is somewhat like this. So can you see any uniform pattern in this particular? Hello? Is it mixed uniformly?
No.
It is not mixed uniformly. Is it mixed non-uniformly or and then froze? So
Yeah,
suppose
it's
this
mixed.
is just the same
Yeah.
thing as heterogeneous solid, in which the
Oh,
materials which are mixed, they are non-uniformly distributed. Anywhere the density of one material is greater, any other place the density of other material is greater. Are you getting my point?
okay.
So this
Yes,
is a
sir.
non-heterogeneous solid.
Okay, sir.
Homogeneous solid is like, suppose if this is a homogeneous solid, that applies steel throughout, everywhere steel, or everywhere iron.
Okay.
Are you getting same material throughout? Is basically homogeneous, whereas heterogeneous is like different material at different places.
Okay, sir.
So, once you're done with this, then write down the statement for a homogeneous solid, homogeneous conductor of uniform cross sectional area. The current flowing through directly proportional. The current flowing unit is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across its provided. One more condition, guys. Provided the temperature of the conductor should not provided the temperature of a conductor should not rise or change. Okay, so please remember, if temperature changes, then this factor, can you see this factor rho? When temperature changes, then rho changes, because rho is something what is dependent on temperature. Okay,
Okay. So in grade 10, we learned that this Ohm's law is only applied to some conductors, which are ohmic conductors. But so the microscopic form of Ohm's law, that is also like only applied to
for
ohmic
ohmic
conductors.
conductor, yes.
Microscopic
Yes,
also.
the microscopic one also applied for ohmic conductor.
Okay, so in general, it's not like if you can apply Ohm's law microscopic or macroscopic to any conductor, it must be.
For
So what's a
ohmic,
ohmic conductor?
even if
So
it's
what's a
even if it's you are applying microscopic form or microscopic form, you will only apply to ohmic conductor. Ohmic conductor are basically those conductors which follow Ohm's law, which are in which
oh,
V is directly proportional to R, the J is like this. Okay,
okay, sir.
so write down the statement. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you're done, tell me.
So If it's only applicable to ohmic conductors, then why don't we mention it in the law?
Because law came first, then we decided, the conductor valid for Ohmic or not.
Oh, okay.
पहले लॉ दिया जाता, पहले थोड़ी बोलते थे कि फॉर ओमिक कंडक्टर ओनली.
Yeah, okay.
Once the law came, now whichever conductors are following this law, they were termed as ohmic.
Hmm.
So this year,
Yes.
चलो guys, done? Everyone done?
Yes. Yes.
Now, guys, see this particular thing. We have already given the relationship between this and everything like that. Can we give a relationship between resistivity and average relaxation time? Resistivity and average relaxation time. Now, do you remember this? We just did this particular thing. J is basically 1 by rho into E by own sum. Right? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
We just did this thing with own law,
Yes,
right?
sir.
J is equals to 1 by rho into E. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And from this formula, I is equals to N into A E V D. So when we know this particular thing, I is equals to N A E V D. Can I write this thing as VD? Can I write VD as N into A into E? VD was written as E into E upon N into tau. ये याद है सबको?
Hmm.
Since VD
Yeah.
was basically this, so can I write this thing as N E square E upon M into tau into A? Can I write it like this?
Yes.
And what is basically J? J is nothing but
I by
I by A. So can you see from here, I divided by A will be this whole thing. So I divided by A will be equals to N E tau M N E square, sorry. N E square tau M into E. Yes or no?
yeah.
Yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Shall I put this over here? Hey, am I making some mistake? देखो मैथ. J is current divided by area is 1 by rho into E, है ना? I is equal to N A E D. N E D को have written and A को मैंने इधर लिखा है. So this whole thing. Okay. So basically, guys, can you see over here? I by A from this equation and this equation. Can I compare?
Yes.
Can you see in the brackets here also there is I by A into something into bracket into E, and here also this is I by A something into bracket into E. So can I compare? When I compare these two, will it become something like this? The rho will be equal to M upon N E square tau. Yes or no?
Yes,
This is
sir.
the relationship between. This is the relationship between. Hello. Please remember, this is the relationship between the resistivity and.
Resistivity and average relaxation.
Is this clear, guys? Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
How do I remember what to substitute? Because like in the previous thing also we substituted and then we got very
See,
equal to us.
I'll write a summary of all the formulas which you know. I'll write a summary of every formula which you know.
Okay, sir.
The first formula for any conductor, Vd is basically mu multiplied by E, right? The second formula is basically I is equal to Na. Third formula is basically what? J is basically I upon A. That is why from here J is equals to Ne into Ne. अभी लिखना मत है. Don't write this thing है ना. Ne into, yes, tell me into Vd, right?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
हाँ. उसके बाद में फोर्थ फार्मूला इज सर एन ई इंटू म्यू, और म्यू इज बेसिकली द मोबिलिटी, यू टर्म इट एज सिग्मा. So basically this can be also written as sigma into it, and this can also be written as 1 by rho into it. Okay, so can you see the different set of formulas? Also Vd is basically this much. In terms of average relaxation time, you write it as what is the formula in terms of average relaxation time? E upon tau. So can you see from here? Acha, by the way, can you see from here? Mu in terms of.
Oh, mu. EM.
So there are many formulas, you just keep around, revolving around these only. The basic formula you should be knowing, Vd is basically equals to mu into E. This is one of the basic formulas. Then, J is equals to I by A, one of the basic formulas. Are you getting my point, guys? This is one of the basic. This is one of the basic. This. Anna? Is this clear,
Mhm.
guys? This is one of the basic formulas. So just keep on revolving around this only, and keep on giving the relation between different molecules or different physical quantities. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Question, Nico.
So could you scroll to the right?
Could you scroll to the right? Sure. Oh my God.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, let's do some numericals on this, and then we'll finish off with this first basics part. Will be done today, and then in the next class we'll do start with the circuit analysis. We'll start with series parallel. Okay, guys, we'll start with studying series parallel circuits. So question.
So so the relation of rho and average relaxation time is important.
The
Or like
relationship
in
between
resistivity and average relaxation time, is it important?
it is not that much important, but still you should know from the basic formula how to get any relation between any physical quantity.
Okay, okay, sir.
Anyways, कैसे लिखें? A copper wire. Write down question. Guys, the question based on these formulas will be like direct theory based, है ना? It will be not any concept, any nothing. It will be direct. Plus question में just put the values in the formula and get the answer. Questions like these will be there, है ना? So see, for example, instead a copper wire, right? A copper wire. Shall I write the whole question at least? Yes, it's fine. Guys, write the whole question because the question will be only statement wise only. I'll not write the whole thing. A copper wire has a square cross section. A copper wire has a square cross section of 6 millimeter on one side. Square cross section of 6 millimeter on one side. The wire is 10 meter long and carries a current of 3.6 ampere. Are you getting my point, guys? The question will be, the language will be given to you, but you need to write exactly like this. है ना? Are you getting my point? You don't need to write the whole question.
Yes.
Just for example, I'm giving you question so that at least you will write this question and then gather whatever data is there. From the next question onwards, I'll be just writing this data, and then I'll ask you what if this is. So till when you have dictated it? A copper wire has a square cross section of 6 millimeter on a side, full stop. The wire is 10 meter long and carries a current of 3.6 ampere, full stop. The density of free electrons is the density of free electrons is 8.5 into 10 to the power 28 per meter cube. Okay, what do you mean by this? Per meter cube? This many electrons are there in every meter cube. Full stop. Find first the current density in the wire. Second, first part, find the magnitude of first part, the current density in the wire. B, the electric field in the wire. C, this part I am writing the whole thing. So how much time is required to travel the length of the resistivity is given in the question, by the way. Okay, so rho is 1.72 into 10. Please start, guys. See, can you understand the question, guys? They will give you a very nice and big statement, and basically they will ask you to calculate. They will ask you to calculate
something.
है ना, something plus, तो वो उसका direct formula लगाना है. For example, what is J? J is basically equals to I divided by A. So you can calculate the area, you can calculate the current, you can get J. Now electric field is basically what? Electric field is basically, can you see by Ohm's law? Hello guys, do you remember Ohm's law? J is
Yes.
equals to 1 by rho into E. Can you see from here? E is basically rho multiplied by J. है ना? Rho
Yes,
is
sir.
given to you. J you just found out. You will calculate it. And now what will be the time? What is the length? The length of the wire is given to you. If you just know how, what is the drift velocity, then length divided by velocity is basically time. Are you getting my point now? Karo fatapat.
Yes, sir.
Give me the answer. Fast.
So the length of one side is 6 mm.
The length, it's a square cross section. Guys, it's a square cross section, and length of that square, cross section. One side is this one. Square cross section.
A value.
Hmm?
What is J's value?
How much did you get?
10 raised to 5.
10 raised to
Yeah,
power
10 raised to
5.
5.
10 raised to power
Yes.
5 ampere per meter square is the correct answer. Okay, next. Next. Done, guys. The answer for the first part will be, I'll just write the answers. So at least when you solve, 10 to the power 5 ampere per meter square. The second answer, electric field will be 1.72 into 10 to the power minus 3 volt per meter. And last one is 1.36 into 10 to the power 6 seconds. Okay.
Sir,
Hanji,
for the time, like what formula do we use?
length upon length of the conductor upon
Okay.
drift velocity.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
Distance upon velocity is basically time.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So time is basically this much. Other guys, one very important thing to note, it's a very realistic problem which I have given. It's like, can you see the time? Does anyone know conversion? 1.36 into 10 to the power. Let me convert it to you. It's a 10-meter wire, na guys?
Yes, sir.
So can you see the time is 136 with 1, 2, 3, 4 zeros? Huh? Divided by, this is in seconds, divided by 60 will give you in minutes, divided by one more 60 will give you in hours, divided by 24. Lol. This time is approximately equal to 15.74 days. So can you see this particular thing? For one electron to travel across the length of the wire, it is taking it days. Okay.
Mm.
So please note this very important point. The value of drift velocity of electrons in a conductor is very small. It is of the order of 10 raised to power minus 6 to 10 to the power, is it generally 10 to the power minus 5 to 10 to the power minus 7 मीटर के ऑर्डर में है. It is of the order of 10 to the power minus 5 meter to 10 to the power minus 7 meter, or you can just say very small. So but still, if the drift velocity is very small, then can you tell me why when you just as you turn on the switch फट से लाइट चालू होती है? क्यों?
Because the single electron doesn't have to travel the whole conductor.
Exactly. Because whenever it's like whenever you turn on the light, it's not necessary that one single electron which is at the end of the wire where the switch is present, वहां से one electron will not travel to the bulb. Okay, it's like you have millions of electrons. Can you see the number of free electron density, guys? Can you see in 1 meter cube area? Where is it? Can you see in 1 meter cube? 1 meter cube is not that much big, although it's big, but still. Can you see over here? These many free electrons are there, 10 to the power 28. So the number of free electrons is way high. So as soon as you switch on the, switch on, then all of these electrons they start moving. So the one which is closest to the bulb, that provides the necessary current for that bulb to light instantaneously. Okay. So
Yes.
if the question will be like this, question will be like, the order of drift velocity is very small. The order of drift velocity is very small. Still, when we switch on a bulb, it glows instantaneously. Instantaneously, instantly. Why? So yes. Now what will be your answer? What will be your answer? Satvik?
The number of electrons
Uh,
is very large.
the number of electrons present in the wire is very large. So yes. So what? Rishma,
So can you
Yes.
scroll up?
एक second मेरे को let me complete this then we'll do it.
Okay,
So
sir.
Rishma आगे. So what? आगे.
Okay. So the collisions will be large.
So every electron start drifting. Starts drifting. Not like the one the switch has to travel all the way so those electrons which are near to the bulb they flow through the bulb first and hence glow. That's it. And hence the bulb glows. है ना? Is it clear, guys? This is a very common conceptual question generally asked by many teachers in school exams. Is this clear, guys? हाँ अब लो ऊपर कर देता हूँ मैं. Yes. Is this clear, guys?
So the electrons still need to travel in that.
Yeah, electron will still travel, but they travel very slowly.
Okay.
So it should not be the conception like sir भले light चालू किया तो it should, why does it happen very quick? You said the drift velocity is very small. So please remember the drift velocity is small. It's not this electron is not going and blowing the bulb. There are millions of electrons which are there. Billions, billions, trillions, I don't know how many. So there are
So all start moving at the same time.
huh?
All start moving at the same time.
All start moving at the same time because electric field it's set
Is
up
that
instantly.
okay?
Huh.
So can you scroll down now?
So it's on the like previous question, the time which we calculated, it's like the time taken for the last electron to reach the bulb, or
Yes, it's the last electron which is the near the switch to the bulb. It's basically like that to travel the whole length of the wire. They have to, ask them
okay,
find
so
how much time will the electron travel, how much time is required to travel the length of the wire. So can you see from the initial to the final it travels the whole length. So how much time will it require? Is this clear? Acha, one question.
Yes, sir.
Suppose there is a current which is flowing in a conductor. There is a conductor like this. Can you see a non-uniform cross section? Hello? Can you see a non-uniform cross section? This is your area is A1 and current is I1, potential is V1 and current density is J1. From here the area is A2, I2 is the current and V2 is the potential and J2 is the current density. So guys, can you see this question? Only one thing is given to you. Current entering over here is this much and current entering over here is this much. Yes. The question is, current is flowing from a conductor of non-uniform cross-sectional area is like this. If A1 is greater than E2, if this is given to you, obviously this, you can see it from the diagram also. Then find the relation between. Find the relation between first I1 and I2. Generally, this question confuses lots of students, so that's why I discuss it in class only. Because you will find this question in many reference books and all. Third is sorry. Third is potential, and fourth is the drift velocity, VD1 and VD2. Okay, guys. Hello, VD1 and VD2. First of all, can you answer the third question? If current is flowing in from this to this, then can anyone tell me what will be the direction of which potential will be bigger? V1 will be bigger or V2 will be bigger?
V1 will be big.
So the third answer, as it is, maybe V1 is greater than V2.
Relation means a formula or just
No.
greater?
Just greater less. From the you can't give a relation like that. Abhi to for now, है ना? So I just want to give which is bigger or which is greater. You can give a relation if you want, but not needed over here. Okay? Just give me which is greater, which is now current. Guys, come. Will the current entering and current exiting be same?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Conservation of charge.
Exactly, conservation of charge, and the law I told it should not stop at any one particular point. Charge should keep on flowing, right? So basically, the current which is entering over here and the current which is exiting out, the current should be equal, or you can say since every element, can you see every small element? What kind of connection is it, guys? If I break this
Series.
frustum of a cone into many small discs of varying areas, then what will be all these connected in series, right? And if it is
Yes,
in
sir.
series, then will the current be equal? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I1 is equals to I2. And now what about second case? If you know I1 and I2 are equal and they are asking what is J1 and J2. So can you see same current, bigger cross section, smaller cross section. So where the density will be
2
more?
will be greater.
2 will
J2
be
will be great.
great.
Yeah.
Are you getting my point? Everyone is
Yeah.
clear?
Yes, sir.
What about the drift velocity? What about the drift velocity? Where do you think the drift velocity should be more and where do you think the drift velocity should be less? Do you remember? J is basically N into E into V. Yes or no?
Mm.
is greater than
Yes, sir.
So basic,
So
huh.
VD2 will be greater.
So can you see J is directly proportional to VD because N and E are
Yeah.
constant? One more thing. Here also, since it's a uniform, please remember, if it's a uniform homogeneous conductor, then N is constant. Okay? If it's a uniform homogeneous conductor, then N is constant. Hello guys,
Yes.
since it's made up
So,
of
but how is it uniform homogeneous conductor? It has varying areas of cross section, right?
oh,
So
wait a second.
N is
Wait a
density,
second.
yeah.
Uniform density homogeneous conductor.
Okay.
Not uniform area of cross section. It's a non-uniform area of cross section.
Okay.
So J is basically this. So can you see which velocity will be greater? Velocity at
VD2.
VD1 is less than VD2. है ना? Please remember, if you ever get confusion in this thing, just assume this thing as a pipe. I told you, current, electricity, and Bernoulli's fluid mechanics is similar. है ना? So basically, consider the fluid particles as the charge particles over here. है ना? Positive charge particles. Hello, guys. The fluid particles as charge particles, positive charge particles. What about the current? Current is basically the rate of flow of charge. Hello?
Yes, sir.
So there also the rate of flow of charge was there, V, velocity V, right? Here also the equation of continuity can be used. Guys, you know this particular thing. Here also the equation of continuity can be used. Here also you can write A1 into VD1 should be equals to A2 into V.
VD2.
VD2.
Okay, you can write this thing as well over here. In current, even if it's a current electricity, still you can write it over here. Is this clear, guys? Achha, tell me this particular thing, when the area of cross section was small, will the drift velocity be more? Aya na?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Flow velocity will be more, right? Where the area of cross section is small. So see this? Where the area of cross section was small, drift velocity will be more. Although we didn't explain using that concept. Is this clear, guys? So that this question is a little bit
Sir.
important. So anyways, I think this is it for basic current electricity, and in the next class we'll start with studying the resistance, the current, the circuit part. The next class onward we'll start with the circuit analysis. Okay. Chal. With this thing, let's wrap up here today's class. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,